My name is Ophelia Sterling, and I learned that the people closest to you often have the best access to destroy your dreams, but when you have the patience to play the long game, their stolen success becomes the foundation for their ultimate downfall and your greatest triumph. When Jasmine Cruz and I became best friends during our MBA program at Northwestern, we bonded over our shared dreams of entrepreneurship, late-night study sessions, discussing business strategies, and our mutual passion for creating unique customer experiences that would revolutionize traditional retail concepts through innovation and authentic community building. Our friendship deepened over 3 years as we supported each other through challenging coursework, relationship dramas, family pressures, and the intense competition that characterized our program's culture of high achievement and networking opportunities that would shape our future careers in business and entrepreneurship. Jasmine's background as the daughter of working-class immigrants who owned a small grocery store gave her practical insights into retail operations and customer service, while my family's experience in commercial real estate development provided me with knowledge about location selection, lease negotiations, and property management that would be crucial for retail success. The business concept that would change both our lives emerged during our final semester, capstone project, where I developed a comprehensive plan for a premium coffee shop chain that would combine artisanal beverages with curated local art displays, live acoustic music, and community workspace areas designed to attract remote professionals and creative entrepreneurs. My coffee shop concept, which I called the Creative Grind, was meticulously researched and included detailed financial projections, marketing strategies, supplier relationships, staffing plans, and expansion timelines that demonstrated the viability of creating a sustainable business model that could compete with established chains while maintaining authentic local character. Jasmine's enthusiasm for my business plan seemed genuine and supportive, as she offered suggestions for menu development, helped refine the customer experience design, and provided feedback on my presentations and written materials that I believed reflected her desire to see me succeed in achieving our shared entrepreneurial dreams. The trust I placed in Jasmine extended to sharing my complete business plan, including proprietary recipes I had developed through months of experimentation, supplier contact, information, location analysis spreadsheets, and detailed operational procedures that represented years of research and planning that would be impossible to replicate quickly. Our post-graduation plans initially aligned perfectly, as I intended to spend 6 months raising capital for my coffee shop while working as a business consultant, while Jasmine planned to gain experience in retail management before eventually starting her own business in a completely different industry that wouldn't compete with my coffee shop concept. The devastating betrayal was revealed when I discovered through social media that Jasmine had opened her own coffee shop called Artisan Grounds in the exact location I had identified as my first choice, using the same design elements, menu items, supplier relationships, and operational strategies that I had shared with her during our friendship and business planning discussions. Jasmine's coffee shop was an almost perfect replica of my business plan, including the art gallery walls, acoustic music stage, community workspace area, and even the specific drink recipes I had developed through extensive experimentation and testing, representing the complete theft of years of creative work and strategic planning. The timing of Jasmine's betrayal was particularly cruel, as she had opened her shop 3 months before I had scheduled my own launch, giving her the advantage of being first to market with concepts and strategies that she had stolen directly from my proprietary business plan and research materials. Jasmine's initial success with her stolen concept was devastating to witness, as customers and local media praised her innovative approach to coffee shop design and community building, not knowing that they were actually celebrating my creative work and strategic thinking that had been appropriated without permission or acknowledgement. The confrontation with Jasmine about her theft of my business concept was heartbreaking, as she denied that her shop was based on my plans and claimed that any similarities were coincidental or reflected common trends in the coffee industry that neither of us could claim to own exclusively. Jasmine's justification for stealing my business plan included her belief that ideas couldn't be owned and that successful entrepreneurs should expect competition from people who could execute concepts better or faster than the original creator, positioning herself as someone who had simply been more decisive and business savvy than I had been. The legal options for protecting my stolen intellectual property were limited, as business concepts and operational strategies are difficult to copyright or trademark, and pursuing litigation would be expensive and time-consuming with uncertain outcomes that might not recover my losses or prevent her continued use of my stolen ideas. My decision to proceed with opening my own coffee shop, despite Jasmine's theft, was motivated by my confidence in the original concept and my belief that superior execution and authentic passion for customer service would eventually differentiate my business from her counterfeit version that lacked genuine understanding of the underlying principles. The location I selected for my coffee shop was strategically chosen to maximize competition with Jasmine's stolen concept, as I opened Sterling Grounds just 2 blocks away from her shop in a space with better foot traffic, parking availability, and visibility that would allow customers to easily compare our offerings and service quality. My coffee shop launch strategy focused on emphasizing the authenticity and originality of my concept while subtly highlighting the superior quality of my recipes, customer service, and community programming that reflected genuine passion for the business rather than opportunistic copying of someone else's creative work. The superior execution of my original concept quickly became apparent to customers who visited both shops, as my genuine understanding of the business model allowed me to provide consistently better products, service, and experiences that reflected the authentic vision behind the stolen concept that Jasmine was attempting to replicate. The marketing advantage I possessed through my deep understanding of the target customer base allowed me to create more effective promotional campaigns, community partnerships, and customer loyalty programs that attracted and retained customers who initially tried both shops but ultimately preferred the authentic experience over the imitation. The operational challenges that Jasmine faced in managing her stolen business became increasingly apparent as her lack of genuine understanding about the concept's underlying principles led to inconsistent product quality, poor staff management, inadequate inventory control, and customer service problems that damaged her reputation and profitability. The financial pressures on Jasmine's business intensified as my superior execution of the original concept drew customers away from her shop, while her inability to innovate or improve beyond the stolen framework limited her ability to adapt to changing market conditions and customer preferences. The quality differences between our shops became increasingly obvious to customers as my authentic recipes and genuine commitment to excellence contrasted sharply with Jasmine's inferior attempts to replicate products and experiences that she didn't truly understand or appreciate beyond their potential for generating profits. The community reputation I built through genuine engagement with local artists, musicians, and entrepreneurs created a loyal customer base that appreciated the authentic vision behind my coffee shop, while Jasmine's superficial attempts to copy these relationships felt hollow and opportunistic to community members who could sense the difference. The expansion opportunities that emerged from my coffee shop's success allowed me to open additional locations and develop wholesale partnerships that created economies of scale and operational efficiencies that Jasmine couldn't match with her single location and limited understanding of business growth strategies. The financial crisis that ultimately destroyed Jasmine's business was the predictable result of her inability to maintain profitability with an inferior version of a concept she had stolen, but never truly understood, combined with the competitive pressure from my authentic implementation of the same strategies she had appropriated. The bankruptcy of Jasmine's coffee shop occurred 18 months after her initial opening, as declining revenues, mounting debts, and operational problems created an unsustainable financial situation that forced her to close permanently and liquidate her assets to pay creditors and suppliers. The personal financial devastation that Jasmine experienced through her business failure included the loss of her personal savings, damage to her credit rating, and legal liability for unpaid debts that would affect her ability to secure employment or start future businesses for years to come. The job application that Jasmine submitted to work at my coffee shop was accompanied by a desperate letter explaining her financial situation and asking for the opportunity to earn a living while learning from someone who had successfully implemented the business model that she had failed to execute properly. My decision to hire Jasmine as a minimum wage barista was motivated by a combination of practical business needs and poetic justice, as having her work for the success of the authentic version of the concept she had tried to steal provided the perfect demonstration of how theft ultimately leads to subservience to the original creator. The irony of Jasmine's employment situation was that she now had to follow my recipes, implement my customer service standards, and represent my brand values while earning a fraction of what she had hoped to make as the owner of her stolen version of my business concept. The daily humiliation of Jasmine's work situation included having to serve customers who remembered her failed coffee shop and recognized her as the person who had tried to compete with the superior business she now worked for, creating constant reminders of her failed attempt at entrepreneurial theft. The training process for Jasmine's position required her to learn the proper execution of the recipes and procedures she had stolen but never mastered, effectively forcing her to acknowledge my superior understanding of the business concept she had appropriated, without permission or compensation. The management structure I established ensured that Jasmine reported to younger employees who had been promoted based on merit and dedication, creating a hierarchy that reflected her status as someone who had lost the right to leadership through her betrayal and business failure. The employee handbook requirements included policies about intellectual property, protection, and business ethics that Jasmine was required to sign and acknowledge, creating legal documentation of her understanding of proper business conduct that contrasted sharply with her previous theft of my proprietary concepts. The performance evaluations I conducted for Jasmine's work included feedback about her attitude, work quality, and customer service skills that reflected her position as a subordinate employee rather than the successful business owner she had expected to become through stealing my ideas and strategies. The expansion of my coffee shop chain into a regional franchise operation created opportunities for advancement that were available to other employees but explicitly excluded Jasmine due to her history of intellectual property theft and the trust issues that prevented her from being considered for positions involving access to proprietary business information. The success of my authentic coffee shop concept ultimately validated my original vision, while demonstrating that stolen ideas without genuine understanding and passion cannot sustain long-term success, as customers and communities eventually recognize and reward authenticity over imitation. Today, Jasmine arrives at work each morning at 5 a.m. to open the coffee shop that represents the successful implementation of the business plan she tried to steal, while I oversee a growing chain of locations that generate more revenue in a month than her failed shop earned in its entire 18-month existence. The ultimate lesson from this experience is that stealing someone's business ideas might provide short-term advantages, but sustainable success requires genuine understanding, authentic passion, and ethical behavior that cannot be appropriated or faked, while theft ultimately leads to the failure that forces former competitors to become grateful employees.